Okay, let's go.
He wants to jump
1,000 cars. Sir, you have 1,000 cars.
I don't think I'd attempt to try this stunt.
Or we owe this horsepower to Uncle Sam.
Too many cars.
Car.
Roses would be.
Like I put my beer belly on it.
If you can't immediately tell somebody how many cars you have,
you'll really give those uppity yuppies something to think about.
Stay on the bar. Don't go off the bar with your Bronco.
1980 Volvo horns, what's right? I want a man's coolant.
and he's like, "Oh, I thought it'd be small. It's for a small car." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's still an automatic transmission. They're never going to be light."
It's definitely going to have to crash.
Starting off with Brad buying another car.
That's the West. Internet.
Is this a Nigerian oil print?
I also wish you drove a tan Camry.
Anyways,
Anyway,
that's a
horrible,
very
horrible podcast content.
very
Talking about a picture.
inside joke.
It loves to be driven hard.
All right, welcome to Auto Off Topic. How are you, Brad?
I'm good, Andrew. How are you?
I'm not bad. I'm doing okay.
Sorry for the missed week. I planned poorly.
I guess I don't know. It just shows how much we communicate sometimes during the week. We do.
Well,
we
it's
go.
funny because I had a plan to leave here on Wednesday morning, and I forgot to tell you on Tuesday night that we should record because I was busy packing. So, here's what it is.
I forget what I was doing Tuesday night, but I was like, I don't know. Maybe I was working on a drift car or something.
Well, we were driving to Oklahoma to watch our nephew graduate his class of 8. So it was a long drive planned for Wednesday, but we took the Maverick, so it went smoothly.
Yeah. So, we're getting ready to record tonight, and scrolling social media, of course, waiting for you to get ready, and then this morning, so this weekend coming up, it's we are Thursday before Memorial Day weekend, so we've got the Indy 500 on Sunday, and then the Coke 600. So huge motorsports weekend in the United States. So looking forward to watching the Indy 500 and the Coke 600. So there, of course, on my feeds, I've got NASCAR and IndyCar stuff. So we get a thing this morning. Kyle Busch went to the hospital. Okay. Now, 2 weeks ago at Watkins Glen, the guy was complaining about being sick. So
after the race, he got on the radio in the car and asked to have fluids prepared for him when he came into the pits, I think, right? If I remember correctly.
Something like that. So it seemed like he had a cold, dehydrated. I don't know.
After a long road course race, that's not uncommon.
Yeah. I think, he said he was sick before it. So now, like, within the last 2 hours, it's come out. His family announced that unfortunately he passed away this afternoon or during the day today. So they haven't said why. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Because he was only 41 years old.
Yeah, which I had no idea. I didn't know he was younger than me. Maybe that's because I don't feel like I'm as old as I am, but I was surprised.
Yeah. Now, he's definitely not one of my favorite drivers. He's definitely a guy that's either you love him or you hate him.
I mean, that was his character, right? Like he played that character to a T. Like he didn't want people to like him. And I don't say character, like it's not who he was or who he wasn't. That's just maybe character is the wrong word, but every sport has a heel, right? And it was him,
I guess. But there's been a couple races this season where he just picked fights with people for seemingly no reason. So
that's true.
That was kind of weird. That definitely makes people not like you, and he's certainly underperformed in the current gen cars.
Sure, but then he won the Truck Series race Friday night.
Yeah, but they're
less than a week ago.
They're based on the oldest version of the cars, right? So,
well, I'm just saying he was still performing at a top level 6 days ago.
Yeah, I guess you're against guys in the Truck Series, but
So he was performing at a higher level than most people in the world.
Yeah.
Below the Cup Series, but regardless, he was driving the car drove a vehicle to a victory 6 days ago, and now he's passed, which is just,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's hard to fathom that, I guess, without it being like an accident, like that
Yeah.
when it's a medical issue. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just weird.
I said he should retire. Sadly, I didn't want the guy to die.
No, we never want somebody to die. I mean, mostly don't want somebody to die, but usually it's just like we want to retire because he's sticking up the field. He wasn't doing very good out there, and he was causing problems. But at the same time, you can't knock what he's done for the sport over the years as far as bringing people in and I guess he was pretty well respected by the other drivers.
Yeah.
So I
I
don't know.
mean,
It's sad nonetheless.
he did have 63 wins in
Yep.
the Cup Series. That was nothing to sneeze at.
The previous
So
championship.
2.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
He was talking. He was talking earlier this year about hanging it up and concentrating on his son, who's like, I don't know, 13 or 14 years old,
Yeah.
becoming the replacement Bush in the series or in racing in general, NASCAR in general. So but it's just I don't know, it's sad. I don't know how to hint, but it's weird when somebody who's younger than you passes away of seemingly natural causes.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's definitely gonna put a damper on. Like I said, this is a huge weekend in motorsport for the United States. So
Yeah. It's
it's
interesting
definitely felt.
because he already had a replacement driver listed because he was going to be out of the car.
Right.
Now, do they continue to run that car or do they not run that car this weekend out of respect for him and his name? I don't know.
I was thinking about this earlier. I think they should run the car. I think it would be super cool because his number is number 8, right?
Yep.
I think it would be really cool if all the drivers agreed that on the 8th lap, or I forget who's driving his car, they just let him lead the 8th lap, right?
Is it
'Cause
Allgaier?
yeah, because
No,
it's
not
just
Allgaier. I don't know who it is.
yeah, I can't remember who it is. It's a non-regular, uh, but he's a Cup Series driver, but he just doesn't have a regular ride, I think, currently, and I can't remember his name. But yeah, I think that would be really cool because it's the beginning of the race. You're not going to change much at the beginning of the race, but it'd be really neat if they just kind of got together and let the 8 car lead the 8th lap, right? Maybe that's something they do, or maybe they pull the car. But
Unless Austin Hill was driving his car, supposedly.
yeah,
So he's
but I
in.
hope RCR keeps their other cars in out of respect because he probably would have wanted that.
Well, I'm
I think.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that's sure they will. I mean, that's
So
not only respect, but it's also that they can't just pull the cars out of one of the biggest races of the
well,
year. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's precedents for if there's racing accidents, they pulled the cars, but um,
sure.
since he uh, passed away not in a racing incident, yeah, they should run the cars. That's a good way. I think that's good for the team. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know. It depends, right? I'm sure all the teams upset, but yeah, I don't know. You might want to compete. It's what you do every week, so might
Yeah,
feel
I
weird
mean,
to not
take your
do it.
mind off other things, right?
Yeah. So that's unfortunate news, but yeah, I don't know. We can talk about the Watkins Glen race. That was pretty cool. SVG putting on another absolute clinic of road course racing.
So
What do you think about
ridiculous.
that? Yeah.
So ridiculous. Like I don't even. He came back. It was 2 weeks ago now, so the numbers I might have wrong here, but he made up like 27 seconds and 18 laps or something because he had to pit with 25 laps left.
Mhm.
And they were like, "Oh, he's out," but no, he just drove back to the front, like it was nothing. So dumb. Impressive, not dumb, I guess is the word.
It's really impressive. I mean, he's not unbeatable on a road course. I mean, he lost at Coda to Reddick, and Reddick kind of was doing pretty well, keeping decent pace with him.
Sure.
But yeah, just uh, incredible. So it should be interesting to see, what happened. I hope guys aren't giving up on road courses. I don't like to see that. So hopefully we see, since we're going to the San Diego race, which is a street course, that nobody's ever run before. In real life, I'm sure there's sim setups of it, but it should be interesting to see what happens there, like who can challenge. So
Last time that happened, SVG was the victor. So
well, yeah. I mean, except for unless something weird happens, which happened in Chicago one year. So, yep, we'll see.
yeah, no, he's an impressive road course racer. There's no question. I don't even understand the vector in times between him and the other drivers. Like, it's not like these guys are chumps. Like,
No.
none of us could go out there and beat them. No, they're professional race car drivers who are very good at the sport. And my only thing that I dislike about this dominance of SVG is that it takes non-NASCAR fans from the outside looking at it going like, see, I told y'all they're a bunch of rednecks. All you do is put a real race car driver out there and he wipes the floor with them. But I don't think that's the case. I think that's just the outside, perspective. But I've heard that from more than one person. So it's
No.
interesting to see what's going on. But
And
I don't know. We shall see.
the other Trackhouse cars did qualify well, so
Yeah.
they just couldn't hold together for the whole race.
They're all top 5, right?
Yeah, they started up high, yeah, qualifying. So, and then I think Connor Zills just had a bad day in the Cup Series, but he won the O'Reilly Series. So
He was doing pretty good most of the day
Yeah.
in the Watkins Glen race until the very end when he had a incident as well. So
yeah, that's I mean, he had a bad day.
he's also, he's also a anomaly. I think
Yeah. So that's the thing we
there's
have.
just something different. There's something
Uh,
different about SVG, and I don't know what it is, but the man can maintain his tires longer than everybody else, and that's one of his biggest advantages. But not only that, he maintains his tires while turning at faster lap time. So I don't know.
It's just
They
really
talk
good
about his
racecraft.
braking style. And they talk about his braking style over the others.
The slipping the clutch in the corners. They were showing him leaving the pit stall, like almost no wheel spin leaving the pit stall. So,
Yep.
Some of these guys like just it feels dramatic. You just drop it and do a burnout as you get out because you're on sticker tires. But that's a little bit of tire wear, and the cars do have more horsepower on the road courses too. So it should be interesting. We're going to San Diego race. I believe our tickets. I don't think just timing wise we won't be able to make it to the truck race. Unfortunately, I believe our tickets cover all 3 races. But
We
I
can probably make
definitely
it.
we'll see because it's
Yeah.
during the day.
Well, how early is the race?
I don't know. We'll have to look at the map for this. I don't want to talk about it right now.
No.
But
Okay.
we'll figure out logistics of our trip off the podcast. But we'll definitely go to the O'Reilly's race because I want to see those cars on a road course. Because
For sure.
it'll be Connor Zilch and probably SVG again and whoever else battling up. So that's going to be a good race. Sunday's race should be really good. So looking forward to that.
My guess is a lot of Cup drivers will be there on the O'Reilly race because it's a new track, especially.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth going to it. And let's see. So yeah, Watkins Glen was cool. It was interesting because it was in the spring. It's like almost never in the spring. I don't think maybe it's never been in the spring. I don't remember it ever being in the spring. It's always been a late summer race in my lifetime, I think. So next summer
As far as I remember.
Yeah, next year they are going back to a late summer race. So it'll be in the playoffs. It's not the playoffs anymore. The chase. It'll be a chase race. Yeah, and then the All-Star race was this past week, which, like we said, so All-Star weekend was the truck race, which Kyle Busch won. And then I don't know, I didn't watch Saturday's race. I don't know who won that. I kind of wasn't super paying attention to the All-Star race. The third lap, Ryan Preece got wrecked.
Lap 2.
And ruptured the fuel cell, which was insane. And the car caught fire, and luckily he got out quick enough and he was fine. But that was just an insane. I haven't seen a NASCAR catch fire in quite a while.
It's
Especially
been
for
quite a while for that kind of fire. Yeah.
yeah, like they've kind of set these cars up to not do that because he so that was like a red flag condition for a while, I think, and then uh it was like 3 races in 1 race. I mean, it felt like it was really long. Like it started in the middle of the day, and then like I was looking at the
So
DVR, it was like 4 hours or something.
the All-Star race is always 2 qualifiers and a main, and that's why they call it the All-Star race. There are certain conditions you have to meet in the beginning of the season, and if you've met those conditions, you're automatically in the main race in the end. There are a number of drivers who are not automatically in the main race, and their finishing position in the first 2 qualifying races determines whether or not they make it into the main final race. And then there's one wild card fan vote choice that gets to go into the final race as well. The interesting thing this year that kind of screwed everything up
So many wrecks, right?
is there were so many people. Wasn't there was so many wrecks?
Cars
There
were
was
just
just a
collected.
couple of big wrecks that there were so many cars that were out that by the end, I think that almost every car that was trying to race in got in just because of attrition. They just had enough spaces open because of cars that were wrecked so bad they couldn't be repaired. Now, that's the other interesting thing is that if you were wrecked out of the first or second race and you were already in the final race, you were allowed to fix your car for the final race. And the one thing that people were complaining about in that particular situation is if you were able to fix your race car before the final race, if your car was 100% before you started the race and then you wrecked it, you're able to fix it to 110%, meaning you could bend the rules a little bit more because your car was fixed from a wreck. So sometimes there's an advantage to that. But anyway, most of the cars got in, only a few did not. And then that meant that the guy who was voted in as, fans' choice to get voted in was like 7th or 8th down the list just by chance because everybody else got in. And that's how Daniel Suarez wound up in the final race. So just a wild, strange issue. Um, I was also only half paying attention because it's not a points race. It doesn't really matter. And as we were talking about pre-podcast, like how do you have an all-star race where everybody is there? That'd be like having an NBA game with 1,500 players because everybody
Yeah.
in the league is just there.
Yeah.
Like it's weird to have an all-star race in a sport in a non-traditional team sport, I guess. So
Yeah, I
I don't know.
guess it should be more like they combine I feel like they've done in the past where they combine the All-Star race with the throwbacks, or they went to, was it Wilkesboro, right? With the All-Star
Yes.
race?
The All-Star race has always been special in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And one thing that's pretty traditional is it's almost always run at night. So having an All-Star race not under the lights was also kind of weird. And I think that
Yeah.
they were talking about that and regretting that. So I don't think we'll see that again. And they're already talking about next year's All-Star race being at another like legacy old track they don't use anymore. So
Exactly.
we'll see what happens. We'll see
That's
what
what it
happens.
should do. It should just be like a
Yeah.
cool exhibition race.
Especially because
And
Dover is always such a good race. Like it's weird to take it off the schedule and make it an All-Star race.
was that Dover? I actually didn't like watching the broadcast. Like I was like, where is this? Nashville? Like I felt they kept not saying it. It was weird. Um, but you know what? We're also done with. I believe we're done with Fox coverage, so that's good too.
100%. Thank God.
Oh, it's terrible. Um, yeah, and I don't know where now. Well, now we're on Amazon, but I don't know how long that coverage goes either. So we'll see.
Who knows? I can't follow it anymore. I've been trying to do the same thing with, obviously, not obviously, but for anybody who does not know me, my second favorite sport after auto racing is basketball. And trying to follow basketball playoffs this year has been a nightmare because one night it's on Amazon, one night it's on Peacock, one night it's on ESPN, one night it's on NBC. It's just like, can we just have a consistent thing here, please? Like, it's
Yeah,
so
we
hard
used
to
to. It
follow.
was called cable, and it worked.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
It's so hard to follow. Thankfully, I have Prime and Peacock. Those are the two paid services I have to find the game on. But what an absolute nightmare it's been to watch the basketball playoffs. And because there's 4 rounds of playoffs, it's 7 games each too. It's a lot of games for each team. So just trying to find each one is like, ugh. terrible. I guess I shouldn't complain because you're able to watch every game, even if it's an out of market game. Like you wouldn't be able to watch maybe your favorite team if they weren't the home team before the divisional playoffs started. If it was just the first round, but now you can. So I don't know. It's just hard to follow it because there's so many different channels it's on because there's so many different games. But anyway, currently go OKC. So because the Celtics are out.
Okay. All right. Again, I've failed at keeping up with IndyCar other than the first race of the season. I kind of fell off.
I watched the first race of the season, and I have all the rest of them queued up on the DVR and have not watched them.
Yeah, you're gonna binge like 10 hours of racing before the weekend.
I'm actually been in the garage, and I was thinking that when I'm working on my project car updates that we'll get to later, I can just put them on the background.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is like Indy 500 kind of exists on its own. So,
It does. There's a lot of not series drivers in there too.
yeah. But I'm definitely gonna make it a point. It's gonna rain in the Northeast. Hopefully, it's not gonna rain in Indiana.
It does every
Nope.
year at
And
some
hopefully,
point.
and hopefully it doesn't rain. Was it Charlotte for the Coke 600? So,
Right. There is one driver doing the double, and it's not Kyle Larson.
nope. Catherine Legg, good for her. I hope
Yep.
she does it. I hope she completes it.
All she has to do to be better than Kyle Larson
Yeah.
is finish both races.
Okay.
If she finishes both races, she'll have done better than Kyle Larson has ever done. And maybe we can shut Kyle Larson up about being the best race car driver in any format of any time ever. Because he's clearly proved himself not to be that.
No, I think, did you watch any of the highlights from the Nürburgring 24-hour race that was also this past weekend?
I watched a little bit of it, but it seemed to be every highlight reel I watched was obsessed with the Dacia Sandero.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool too. But also,
Yeah.
it was also funny watching a bunch of F1 fans discovering endurance racing
Yeah.
with cars passing each other.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Wait, this is racing?
That's what racing is supposed to be. Because Max Verstappen was absolutely dominating for a while in that Mercedes. I don't know if the car. I think did the car break? I don't know if they actually won the whole thing.
I don't know. I
'Cause
didn't see the finish.
I know I was just kind of following it on social media, and it used to stream for free on YouTube, and I guess they cut the US streams because too many people. I don't know. It's so silly. I hate all
Screw
this.
us, right? Yeah, it's all
Um,
terrible.
Yeah, that's definitely a race I'd like to go to. I was there 3 years ago now, just after it, and all the stuff was still left over, and I was like, man, a few weeks earlier.
What I don't understand 100%, it's not directly tied to a race series. It's its own standalone race, like the Indy
Basically.
500, kind of.
Well, it has its own feeder races that are run on the Nürburgring. There's like shorter
But
qualifying
'Cause
races.
there was a bunch of like old stuff out there,
Yeah, it's really
which
cool.
I thought was interesting.
That's what's so
Yeah.
cool about it.
Like there was a guy running what looked like a late 80s, early 90s DTM Mercedes.
And they
I was like,
run
that's so cool.
the North course, Nordschleife, and the F1. Like it's huge. So they combine both tracks, which is really cool. So
Yeah, it seems super cool.
it's definitely a bucket list race to get to that in Le Mans. So, but anyway, yeah, that was pretty cool stuff. Watching him actually race cars and pass cars. You're like, okay, this guy isn't just a one trick open wheel car. Like this guy,
Sure.
like the way his
This guy is
mentality.
better than Kyle Larson.
Yeah, well, the mentality of the way he's racing is like race car drivers in the 60s would just jump into anything and race it, right? It's like a Mario Andretti type thing where he'd race NASCAR, he'd race F1, he'd race endurance cars, race Le Mans, whatever. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see out of my race drivers. Do it all. I want to see you enthusiastic about just racing, just wheeling a car. That's what I want.
Yeah, just drive whatever you can drive.
Yeah, watching a person who's really good at driving is really enjoyable. So, doesn't matter who it is, as long as they're good at it.
And my guess is that a lot of these NASCAR guys would get much better at road courses if they spent more time driving road courses during off weeks.
Yeah, if they could.
You know.
Yeah, I know there's like sponsorship stuff, but yeah, it would be it'd be super cool to see more of these guys cross over, at least with IMSA, because that's in the United States, or have them do, you know, a Le Mans, have them do a Nürburgring. It'd be
So
rad as hell.
Verstappen's car did have a mechanical failure with less than 4 hours to go, but the other team AMG car won the race.
All right. Enough motorsport. How about any project car updates?
Nothing like super technical. I've been working on a couple of things. One of them is the Record. I know it feels like I've been saying this every week for months now, is going through the process of going on an auction site. And that will be, I'm hoping, before next podcast live on Cars and Bids.
Okay.
I don't know if I talked about putting it on Cars and Bids or not. I was not going to, based on our experience in the past with the Infinity, but I was running it through Haggerty at first,
That was a weird
and
issue with the car and the person
that
being annoying.
particular buyer, but then Cars and Bids not pulling the review down was kind of why I didn't want to do it. But I was prepping everything through Haggerty because a friend of ours sold their Galant VR4 through there, Josh, with pretty good luck. But I was annoyed at the lack of communication from Haggerty.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still haven't received an email from an actual person from them. It's all been like automated or AI written things. And that annoys me because I don't want to have that kind of care before the auction and imagine what it's going to be like during and after. So
Yeah.
I decided not to go through Haggerty at that point. And I went through Cars and Bids, and by the second email, I had a person assigned to me and like a personalized email. So that already is enough for me to change. So I changed over to Cars and Bids. Thankfully, it's also free to list on Cars and Bids now. They don't charge you at all as a seller, so there's no big deal there. I sent a bunch of pictures into them. They've been going through those. I'm actually taking the car back out tomorrow night because I want to reshoot some things because I'm not happy with them. Um, they're a little bit darker than I want them to be, and in trying to lighten them up, it's just not right. So tomorrow after work, I'm gonna go out, for the hour leading up to golden hour and through golden hour, and take some pictures of the car again and resubmit all the photos. So I actually spent the last day and a half vacuuming and cleaning and wiping down and polishing the car just to make sure it looks top shape for the pictures. So that should be good. But the big project I've been working on is still the Starion. Mechanically, I have not done anything, but I've been doing a ton of cleaning of the car. I never really got the chance to like deep clean the car before I took it on the rally event a couple weeks ago. And I've been going over it with the buffer. And the first step was actually, let me back up a little bit. First step was actually removing the pinstripes that are on the car. I don't know if you can picture them, but there was a maroon pinstripe that ran from the headlight along the top of the fender, underneath the belt molding on the window, and then up the back of the window. And then a second one that started on the quarter behind the door and ran under the quarter glass all the way to the back taillights. I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it. And on top of that, it was pretty worn out and there were like pieces of it that were missing. So I was actually nervous that it was going to be kind of a disaster in taking it off and the paint was going to be trash around it if I took it off and it's going to show like it had been there forever and I couldn't hide it. But I got the good old fashioned favorite tool out, the rubber wheel, and I started to go to town and it came off pretty flawlessly. And as we've discussed previously on the show, it's a single stage paint job on the car. So I went over the lines where the stripe type was by hand with some of the Chemical Guys C4 polish. And once I did like 2 passes with that, I stepped back and the fading line was gone. You could not see the pinstripes anymore. They were 100% just disappeared. So I'm very happy with how that came out. Then I used that same C4 polish on the random orbital, like slower speed one, because I don't know how thick the paint is on the car. There's a couple of places like on the corners where I think what has happened as when it was sitting outside under a car cover, the wind or the paint off, and you can see some primer spots. So I don't want to make those primer spots any bigger. So I've been using it on the lower speed random orbital with that same C4 polish and just kind of going over each panel with the on the car with that polisher. And it's the car is amazingly white now. When I would be halfway done with the panel, I tried to take pictures, but with the way the garage lights are and just white paint in general and the way cameras catch light sometimes, you couldn't see it through the camera. But to the naked eye, the non-polished panels look yellow. It actually reminded me of like if you see a picture of somebody who, took the painting off the wall in somebody's house who was a smoker, like behind the painting would be bright white and the rest of the wall just look yellow. It was kind of like that. The entire car just looked yellow. And I didn't realize how bright white the paint actually is as we're bringing back that depth to the single stage white and getting rid of any of the old staining that was on the car before. So that white paint is like it's super super white. Like it's an ultra bright white, and I like it a lot. So very happy to how it's coming out. So I think I'm trying to remember what the name of the color was in '84. If I remember correctly, it was. I'm gonna have a hard time with this. What's the white color on
Summit white?
the so Summit White is what's on the Galant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is gonna be is it
Sarajevo white?
Rocky? No, that's not the right color either. It should be the right color, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I think it's Rocky White
Hmm.
is the color. I'll have to look it up again. I don't remember for a fact, but it's a different white color. Now I'm bummed because I had it in my head before I started this podcast. Now it's gone. It should be Sarajevo white because the '84 Olympics were in Sarajevo, and the official car of the '84 Olympics was Mitsubishi. So
Oh, that makes sense now why that was like that. I always wondered that. And I knew that fact too. I just put it together that you said it.
yeah. Speaking
Hmm.
of which, there was a really neat orange like sticker that they had on some of the cars they
Yeah.
sold then that nobody makes a repop of, and I'd like to make a repop of to put in the
Is
window because
the
I
one
do
with the
have an '84 Mitsubishi.
it's like the coyote on it or something? Or what? We talked about the
That particular logo does not have the coyote on it. It's just an orange logo with like a snowflake kind of thing, and it's neat. I'll get it made eventually, but um, there's the little coyote guy is another logo from the Sarajevo. He's like the character of the Sarajevo Olympics
yeah.
that year, but that wasn't specifically Mitsubishi. But nonetheless, the car looks super bright white right now, and I am even more in love with it than I was before. And this car is just coming out so nice. I actually my birthday was last week, and Naomi was trying to figure out what to get me for my birthday, and we actually got. She had already thought of this, and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to order some floor mats for the car." And she's like, "Oh, I was trying to find floor mats for you." And she actually found the same website that I was going to use. And so actually we ordered the floor mats for the car. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Lloyd mats? Like
No.
Christopher Lloyd?
Like Lloyd Christmas?
Yes. Yeah. LLYOD. They're a very old floor mat company. They've been around for many, many years.
You
And
didn't
they
get
have
Cocoa Mat?
patterns. They're kind of like Cocoa Mats, sort of, I guess, as far as like fancy goes. They're incredibly pricey, but they're very nice. Um, they've been around for a million years. They have patterns in stock for almost every car. So
Oh.
I can have them custom cut to an '84
Oh.
Mitsubishi. They make them to order. They're not in stock, and they have like I don't know 20 different colors to choose from. So I went and I bought. They call them their Lux mats because the factory Mitsubishi mats on the tan car that I have are a super deep, like half-inch thick piled carpet in that tan color. And this car didn't come with any mats. So their Lux mats are the same kind of material that the original Mitsubishi ones were at the time. Because don't forget, like the Starion was like their flagship, right? So they
Yeah.
spared no expense when they built this car. In fact, I pulled the front plate frame off, the plate frame weighs 6 pounds. That's how like solid everything is in this car. It doesn't even make sense. So anyway, I ordered the mats. They actually came today, and they are spectacular. They're super like luxurious feeling, um, and they're the perfect maroon color to match the interior. So stoked to have those. I'm gonna put those in when I finish cleaning the interior. So I have not finished cleaning the interior yet since the rally, but because I've been concentrating on the exterior. So this car has quickly gone from like get this thing running and run a rally to a brand new car that I'm absolutely in love with. So I'm very happy with that. But still some more things to do. I still got to finish the cleaning the wheels up a little bit more. I need to get the exhaust built because the exhaust got a giant hole in it. But and then start my journey of the modifications that I want to make once the Mercor is gone. So very happy with how the car is coming out, and no complaints. Good car. Keep her forever.
Cool.
So that's pretty much all I've been working on. I don't think I've touched anything else. What's crazy is that I haven't even driven the car since I got back. I put it in the garage and I just started cleaning it. It's been sitting there for 3 weeks now. So
Nice.
oh, air conditioning. That's what I got to fix next in the car. That's the next big project. So anyway, how about you, Andrew? Have you actually been working on the Volvo at all?
Well, actually, speaking of putting stuff up at auction, I don't think we really talked about it. My grandfather passed away in February. He came out here for that, but he had a 2008 Cadillac with about 3,000 miles on it. CTS 4. So I'm actually gonna. It's like doesn't need much cleaning. I'm gonna spiff it up, take some nice pictures, but that's gonna go on Bring a Trailer. So we're gonna do a
TTS 4, so that's the 3.6 or 3.8 liter 4x4 all-wheel drive one.
Yeah, it's all drive 3.6, I think. This is the direct injection one. I think it has everything but nav. It's gold over tan. It's a real
Honestly,
grandpa
no
spec car.
nav. No nav is a good option because that
Yeah,
factory nav always looks dated.
exactly. So the only comp I could find was the one on Bring a Trailer from like 2 years ago. It was a red one with the nav, I think. Uh, and that had like 30,000 miles on it, and it sold for like 16 grand. So, or 12 grand, I think. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna take your advice and put it up as a no reserve auction and just see how it goes. Because we're just
Yeah, you don't need to get a specific dollar number out of it,
no,
and I think you'll
no,
get a better result selling it that way than dealing with Facebook Marketplace people locally, right?
yeah, because nobody understands what that is. It's a weird, it's kind of a weird car, super low mileage. Someone will really want it who sees it on Bring a Trailer, and just let them have it for whatever it goes for. Um, and yeah, just selling it for the family. So,
Yeah, I mean you'll find out the true market value by opening it up to the market.
but yeah, it was just funny because I was reading the comments of that comp sale, and they were asking like, "Oh, does it have the nav?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, it has nav, but I wouldn't use it. I just use my phone." Like people wanted it to have the nav for some reason, and the seller is like, "It's from 2008. It's way out of date." And like, what do you care? Like, just like because they were asking me if the screen popped. The screen would pop up from the dash. It's like, yes, it pops up, but like you don't need to use it. Just use your phone. So it actually had a weird option. I sort of remember this now off the top of my head that it had, uh, it was like the episode of It's Always Sunny where Charlie makes a tape of directions for Frank. It would just voice guide you without a map, like through OnStar or something. Yeah, but it was actually satellite. It wasn't, at the third stoplight or the third orb. Charlie, they're all orbs. What are you talking about? Whatever he says. Um, yeah, and then it will also include that was a automobile car of the year in 2008.
Motor Trend.
Motor Trend car of the year in 2008.
Golden calipers.
It will also include the golden calipers from the
I
dealership.
mean, I feel like that because you have that, and I think you should probably try to find a copy of that magazine on
I
eBay
should. Yeah, I should
to
actually. That's a
sell
good
with the
idea.
car. And I think
Yeah.
that some bring a trailer person will see that and be like, "Oh my god, $48,000."
Hey, maybe
Because I
that'd be
remember the
ideal.
story of your grandfather buying the car
And he's
and
just
being
like,
like,
"Hey, can
"I'll
I
buy the
have that?"
car if I can have the calipers," and they're like, "I guess."
The guy's like, "Sure." Yeah.
And it
It.
probably came from Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the apparently I didn't realize he's got the banner too that was hanging up in the showroom. They gave him that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's the
That's
thing people
awesome.
don't realize. Like at car dealerships, you can just ask them for things. It's kind of like
Yeah.
when you buy a house, where you can just be like, "Hey, can you guys leave X whatever it is in the house? Like I like that. Can you
Listen,
just leave
it's
it?"
like ducks in the park, as many as you can fit in your trunk.
Yeah.
They're all
But
free.
like, yeah, you don't really like seriously. When I bought this house, it had a bunch of weird mirrors in it, and the people that were selling it were like, "Can we have that mirror in the dining room? It has sentimental value." We're like, yeah, take it."
Yes. Yeah.
But but
We're just
but
gonna smash it in the curb. Please take it.
but if I was like, "Actually, I want it," we could have negotiated like a price for it. Like that's totally like that is something you can do, and just not a lot of people realize it. So
So I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second in Cadillac talk. I did look it
good.
up. Um, Rocky White is the name of the
Okay.
color, but it's the same color code as Sarajevo. So my guess is they changed it in '84 to Sarajevo White because of that. If that's a guess, I could be wrong, but that's what I'm looking at right here. So it says code W18 Sarajevo or Rocky White. So
And Summit White might be a little different too. Because white.
Sun White is definitely different. It's a
Yeah.
little less bright. The Sarajevo White is a brighter, like snow white than the Summit White is. So having owned one of each, or more than one of Sarajevo and one Summit White car in my past, I can definitely say the Sarajevo White is much brighter.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
carry on.
yeah,
Cadillac.
I did work on the Volvo. My dad and I think I talked about we figured out that it needed a brake light switch, so I put that in. Brake lights work. Maybe I already talked about this.
You did.
Basically buttoned up all the wiring. All the wiring under the hood is done. We Our buddy Jared came over, helped me put the hood on. Hood's on the car. Um, I got it cranked over, fuel system purged, got it running the other night. Dialed in the electric fan because I had my a multimeter that's got a thermometer setting on it with a thermocouple. So when it got to 190, I adjusted the fan controller so the fan comes on at 190. It cycles for about 15, 20 degrees, gets to like 175, shuts off. Perfect.
Fan controller didn't have a number on it to turn it to.
Nope, no number. Just got a radial switch on it. And you just adjust it. But so yeah, you're gonna know the temperature. Um, that's good. The filters I have on it, air filters, the rear one on the rear carb is just touching. There's like a body reinforcement of the inner fender. It's touching there. So I've ordered, these were just cheap, like $30 Weber filters. I bought some more expensive ITG ones because they're like single sausage filters for each um, carb. So they're like, they're tapered and they're not as tall. So they won't hit the body because basically I was cranking it over and you could hear it tapping against the body of the car, which is not good because that's directly basically smashing the carb against the inner fender. Yeah. So basically that'll change those out. And then, it was running pretty well. It was running very well, actually. The only weird thing was the fuel pressure regulator suddenly just dropped to zero, even the car was running and the bowl filled up all the way after I had it adjusted at 3 psi where it wants to live. So I don't know what's going on with that. That's kind of annoying. Hopefully the ethanol didn't eat it within 5 starts. That's kind of annoying.
Oh, it's not starts, it's sitting, right? That's what
It's
caused the
only sat
problem with
with
ethanol.
it's only sat with gas in it since November. Barely any gas in it.
Yeah.
Be really annoying.
I'm actually
So
nervous about that with my Cressida out front because I put gas in it like 2 years ago, and
yeah,
it's ethanol fuel in my freshly redone tank.
yeah. So uh, I've got it. It's been sitting for a couple days. Next time I go over there, I'm gonna try to start it. Maybe it'll somehow reset itself. There's no leaks. Like I looked up when these things fail, and usually like the diaphragm fails, and they'll be leaking fuel out. It'll be like running really rich. Seems to be okay. I don't know why, but maybe there was like an air pocket in there when it was being adjusted or something. And like, cause it basically took a while for that little filter to fill up with fuel as it was running. There's no leaks anywhere else. Like, I don't know. It's very weird. I'm hoping letting it sit lets it somehow reset, pressure bleeds down or something, and I can readjust it. Luckily, if I have to, those are rebuildable, the fuel pressure regulators. You can buy parts for like $40 and rebuild them. Hopefully
Yeah,
not.
I don't think it's gonna be anything with that. I think there's probably just something weird happened. I think it'll probably self-correct once you're using the car a little
I
bit,
hope so.
hopefully.
It's just weird. And everything looks nice and clear and clean in there, other than like the gas turned green for a little bit and then it went clear again. That was kind of weird. But I think that was just getting some of the old stuff out of the tank that I didn't quite
Some
get out.
sediment. Yeah.
But I have a filter from the tank to the fuel pump, and then the pump pumps it up to this fuel pressure regulator, which also has a filter in it. And those goes in the carbs. The carbs have little filters in them too, apparently. So
They probably have little stone filters, I assume.
yeah. Um yeah, then we have to figure out when we were running it in November, the temp gauge was maxed. Uh and I think that's maybe we didn't have the fan set quite correctly and the timing was a bit advanced, so the car might have been running a little warm, but it didn't wasn't like dangerously warm, but now running it, it's completely flatlined. It doesn't even move on the dash, and the fuel gauge doesn't move on the dash. So I got to figure that out. There's something going on. There's no lights on the dash either. Those aren't working when you turn the headlights on.
So
So
all
it's
those like
probably
one big ground somewhere.
yeah, it's got to be a ground thing. That's where I'm going to start. And speaking of grounds, I had the car running, and I realized it wasn't charging. I was like, that was weird. Like I just happened to hook up another. We have multiple multimeters, so I had one. I was like, well, I'm just curious. I hooked up the battery to make sure it was charging. It wasn't charging. I was like, all right, that's weird.
Multimeters.
Yeah, I was like, that's weird. I got to look into that. And then the fan wasn't coming on. So as it was coming up to, temp, I'm watching on the other multimeter. And I'm like, all right, this is not,
Yeah.
the fan's not coming on when it should. It's not charging. We'll shut it off. And sure enough, I go back and over by my little fuse panel. I have a ground area with a bunch of the grounds. I had loosened it because I was doing other wiring work and moving things around, and I forgot to retighten it. So yeah, always check your grounds. So
Always remember to retighten things.
yeah, once I fixed that ground, uh, the fan started working again, and the car was charging. So that's good. And yeah, it's just going to be like fiddling with the final wiring. And we talked about tires last time. I ordered them. They're here. I got to have them mounted, flush the brakes, and start test driving
Drive
it.
the car.
Yeah, it's summertime. I start test driving it, and I missed the Marblehead Cruising meet. That was last week. I'll go to the next one. Definitely, that's my plan for in like 3 weeks in June. So
What you need to do is you need to sign up for a rally that costs like $1,000 and then just get the car running 2 days before and then slam 2,000 hard miles on it.
I don't know if I can deal with that stress anymore.
That's what you
The,
need to do.
the car will probably do the stress test. I don't know if I can take the stress.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I could have done it either without the love and support of family and friends, but especially Naomi and Chris. So it was you need some kind of ridiculous goal here. So
I think just getting it 2 towns over is pretty good. that'd be a pretty big win. So
Yeah.
because I want to try to finish it pretty quickly this week, because I want to get working on my mom's Beetle. It needs to get. I want her to be able to drive that over to Marblehead too. So,
100%.
what else? That's pretty much as far as project cars. That's pretty much it. I got a new coolant temp sensor, a different company than the NGK1, NTK, NTK1, to try on the Galant, because that thing's been weird. So I'm gonna try it head to head. I've got a brand new one, NTK, that I had sitting in the toolbox, and I got this other new one. I'm gonna
Yeah,
test both
have
of
them
them.
sitting and check the voltage on them because
Yep.
that will tell you what the
Want to see
difference is.
what's
Like I
what.
said, I had 4 different ones and I got 4 different ohm readouts
Yeah,
in the
I'm
same
curious now.
control. So
So yeah, that's
very strange.
and then I gotta get stickers on those. Get stickers on the Talon, and once I do the brakes in my mom's Beetle, I gotta do the ball joints on the G20. So other than that, because I can't, it's drivable, but I don't want to drive it because they are slightly loose. And
Sure. It's probably fine
I'm
around town, but
yeah, and I don't know if I don't think you're coming to visit soon, but if you need a rental car when you're here, I want you to be able to use it. So
yes.
I don't want to have
I
to
was just
sneak up on
I'm
me.
trying to figure out how to make that happen because PTO is the tough issue. But I want to go out there at least once this summer. Um, I'd like to get the NSU rolling again so I can get that shipped and get the Colt done so I can get that shipped. So we'll see what happens. But try to figure out something.
Well,
Also,
yeah,
I almost bought a car last weekend,
yeah.
but I didn't buy it yet, so I'm not gonna talk about it too much. There's a potential bucket
Got to be
list
in the
car in the
Discord.
works.
That's how you get the
Yeah,
secret inside track.
you would know. There's a potential bucket list car, one of my 3 bucket list all-time cars that I've always wanted. Sort of fell in our lap last weekend. Hasn't actually fallen in our lap yet because I don't own it yet, but there's a strong potential that it could be here soon.
There's
So we'll see. I
also
said I wasn't going to buy any more cars, but every now and then things just happen. So
yeah.
and I forgot. Oh, totally. I found a machine shop willing to take on the 3TC and the Corolla.
Oh, okay,
So
good. I've totally forgot about that car. You have too many
yeah,
cars.
I did not because it's in my way every time I walk outside. It does not run, and the engine's in my way, and I just want to get it done. So
Well,
my normal machine shop said, no, I don't have a block plate for that. And I was
okay.
like, well, I don't need you to put a block plate on it. I just need you to measure the bore and make sure it's not cracked and make sure it looks good enough to put new pistons in. So, but this new guy is all about it. And he's done many 3TCs over the years. And I had a long conversation with him actually today. So I'm excited to bring it down to him on Monday. So
Very good.
things are moving.
Yeah. Well, I also got invited by your dad back to judge at Mistlewood too. So yeah, if you can come out for that, that'd be fun.
I would like to, but chances are
Yeah.
slim.
Well, I will be judgy in your honor.
Thank you. We have like an 8 or 9 day trip in August. That's really, I'm not complaining because I'm not going to complain about having a vacation, but it's really kind of thrown a bit of a wrench in the works as far as PTO time to get home at some point because I'm trying to determine whether or not I want to come home at some point during the summer or save the time for the holidays. So we'll see. We shall see. I can get more done in the summer, obviously, but the holidays are the holidays. So who knows? So anyway, and as always, I am trying to figure out what cars to get rid of because I need to get rid of some stuff, but I'm having a hard time. So
Definitely 944 Mercure.
Record 944 are 100% going away. Other than that, I'm having a hard time. So I just don't know. Anyway, if anybody wants to buy one of my cars, let me know because maybe the right offer will entice me.
I also have a 13 Malibu with low mileage. That's a good car for someone that just
Yeah,
gonna
I don't
sell
want that.
Facebook. I also have a 2000 Volvo S70 with like 70,000 miles on it. Needs a couple things.
I kind of want that, but I don't want that.
Yeah. Needs like a power steering pump, I think. I'm just gonna sell it as is. It's a
If
good
I were looking
car
for a
someone.
daily, I would fly there tomorrow and drive that home over the 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
But that's a great car.
Yeah. I will probably post that. I'll put it on Facebook, but I'll probably cross post it to the New England New England Volvo group, because that's like a good enthusiast
Are
Volvo car. Like somebody will
Is that a
daily that.
5-cylinder car?
They're 5-cylinder non-turbo. Yep, automatic.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, those are very good cars. Like those were
Yeah.
well-made cars. That was from 93 to 2005. Was that
Was it that late?
series of car? Yeah, because it went from the 850 to the
The
70
S70.
series. It's the same car underneath, just
Yeah.
refreshed. Yeah, that was a flagship car for them. That was a big deal after the 240 to build the 850 series.
Yeah, I know
Those
it
are
was an overbuilt car. It was very
those are
much
re
like
yeah,
the
those are
Starion, overbuilt
yeah,
and great.
yeah, those are really good
So,
cars. But yeah, I don't know, that's pretty much all
ours
I
is to
got for
manual swap one of those. Probably difficult.
ask Jordan, our buddy with the 850
Oh
turbo.
yeah, it was not simple. That's right.
No.
I remember what that took.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Actually, Jordan
possible.
should buy that car.
Yeah, I'll see. Let's see if anyone wants it. But anyway, I think that's all the real cars I have. I can talk about a couple RC car stuff.
Sure. I actually, before we start that, I visited the local new drift track there. I haven't built my drift car yet because obviously real car projects have been in the way,
Yeah.
but I'll get there. But I visited there. The pricing structure is very similar to your drift track setup, so that's good to know. It's the same kind of tile that they run on yours, so that's good for ease of use. Um, but there's a bunch of other cool stuff there too. Like they have a huge crawler course,
Yep.
like couple different carpet tracks, and a full mini Z track, which is the most dangerous one because I love mini Zs.
Yeah.
So I need to talk to them about seeing if they ever run. They should do a vintage mini Z night because I would 100% be there.
It's just cool because it's like people talk about lack of third spaces. It's a nice third space that's not a bar or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
And for less money than it would cost to hang out at a bar all night, for sure.
exactly. Like it's not.
So,
It's like one price. Like it's not hourly, right? Like
yes,
track fee. Yeah,
it's a day rate. Yep.
yeah, yeah. That's what's
If
pretty
you get there
sweet.
with an hour left, it's on you. If you get there with 6 hours left, you pay the same price.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
Yeah,
and they have
I'm
the
gonna.
same thing as yours, where there's a membership to get you a discount
Mhm.
and all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna bring my car out because we're gonna stay out there for a week after the San Diego race. So I'm gonna bring my car with me. One of
my
them,
car will
just the
definitely
Yokomo.
be definitely done by then. So,
I'll bring a
my
couple
goal.
of the small tools because they travel well, so we can tune your car, like the alignment rack and stuff, and maybe the scales.
Excellent.
So, oh, excuse me, a little dust there. Yeah, 1 second. A little seltzer water.
Please
All
hold.
right. Yeah. I've been working on the TT02 with the MRC conversion. That's been pretty fun. It's got a ton of MRC parts on it now, and some Tamiya alloy shocks, which I always wanted on one of my Tamiya cars. So
It's funny because you say MRC and my brain goes to old
yeah,
Tamiya stuff because
yeah.
that used to be the importer of Tamiya stuff back in the 80s. Model Rectifier Corporation.
Nope. It's now in Japan. It's Matrix Racing Club. And they make a bunch of
Yeah,
tuning
totally
parts.
unrelated. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're making a bunch of cool parts to change the suspension geometry a bit and add angle. And it drives pretty well. I was playing around with it. Took a different, I had to get a better servo for it. Um, the quote unquote cheap drift servo on A-Main was not very good. I actually need to leave a review for it because it stinks. It's too fast. It'd be better on like a rock crawler where you need some high torque to move some big tires. But and then I also changed the gyro in it. That works a bit better. It's an interesting gyro. It's another Japanese company, Metal Garage, but it's a rebrand of an RC OMG, which apparently is like probably the manufacturer that manufactures, because they look basically identical to all the Yokomo stuff and all the Rev D stuff. And there's a lot of debate online on whether this stuff's the same, because that's typically the way Chinese manufacturing works, is they just have one factory and they make everything.
Like, and then basically probably just the only thing that's bespoke maybe is the programming, but uh, these also have a programmer like the Yokomo does. So you can change the stuff if you want. So it seems to work pretty well, at least in the TTO2. So I sent that to you earlier. You can get like a gyro that should perform as good as the Yokomo V4 from what people say for like half price. So
Yeah, I was excited that I haven't bought the stuff yet when I got that from you because I'll probably buy all that stuff.
yeah,
So
and then I can tell you about the other stuff after. I don't have to bore people with it, but I kind of like the entry level Yokomo electronics. They're pretty good
yeah,
for
I've been looking at the entry level motor and speed controller.
yeah. It's pretty.
Basically,
That's what I'm running. It's pretty darn good.
yeah,
And you can get the adapter for the Tamiya plug to run bullet connectors into the lithium, uh, the lipos. So it's not a big deal. Or you can just cut it off and put your own connector on it if you want. But anyway, yeah, that car's been pretty cool. And now I'm working on I'm going to convert the MB-01. I got an Eagle Racing drift kit for it, which basically moves the servo to the front. It's got a lot of blingy blue aluminum on it, so it'll be a little different. And I'm going to retire that Aroth body because I don't want it to get ruined because it's really cool looking. I'll get a display chassis for it. And I've got a MST NA Miata body that's going to go on this M chassis car. So it'll be a 225 wheelbase M chassis, which is shorter than a regular 1/10 scale car.
sure. Yep. I didn't know
Um,
that the MST Miata was actually short wheelbase.
it is.
That's good.
And it's funny because the reviews were like, this is supposed to fit the Whitey car, which is a regular size Yokomo. And somebody
Yep.
clearly wasn't reading the description, or maybe it wasn't described properly. But yeah, it's an M chassis body.
I thought for sure it was for the bigger chassis myself, and I read the description, so maybe it was not described properly.
Yeah.
I think that and the first gen RX-7, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
not.
You gotta be careful. But it's cool. I like that it's not as common because it's hard to get those bodies to see M chassis cars. And M chassis are not comp legal because they are shorter. So, um, yeah, that should be a fun little project, something different. And then I actually did at the beginning of the month. I didn't talk about it. I did a comp at my local track.
Okay,
That went about as well as you expect.
so you
Made it
won?
to this, yeah, made it to the second round of the qualifier. Um, that was hard. I actually didn't realize that we're running one tire compound. I didn't realize we changed the tire compound. Uh, they did talk about it. And I remember seeing it, but I kind of ignored it. I didn't understand what people were saying. So like I basically did all the practice laps on the old tires and then switched to the new ones and did a couple laps and then went to qualify. So it just felt slightly different, but I thought it was just me.
Sure.
But yeah, the tires were slightly. It's funny how the plastic tire material does make them feel slightly different.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
compound is compound, right? It's plastic or
yeah,
rubber. If it's a different material, it's gonna
yeah.
do a different thing.
And then the course was very tight and very technical, different from the last one that was a little bit more open. So it was tricky. It was just tricky to get a handle of. And I don't know. It's confusing to run it because I was like qualify. I was like like basically. I think they only had 16 drivers or 20. They had 20 drivers. That's what it was. So they did like a bottom 8 qualifier for. Uh, so I was in the bottom 8. So they just had all the bottom 8 guys go against each other and then move up to the whatever the next thing would be. I don't know. I can't do it right now. I'm tired.
You weren't there, so you don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, basically, I don't know. What's confusing, right, is like you start out, there's a lead car, chase car, and basically the lead car is just trying to hit all the zones and the little precision like squares that you can go over. And you're like trying to just like get some angle, get in the box and go around the corner because they're marked out with yellow. But like, I like take off and I'm like doing it. And it seems like I'm doing all right. And it's like the other person's dragging behind. And you're like, did I do something wrong? Like, why are they so far behind? Like, this is confusing. They're not like keeping up with me. But it's also because they're not very good. So it's like,
Because you're also in the bottom 8. Yeah.
yeah. So you're like, it's because when I'm there just messing around and I'm like chasing one of the guys who's like one of the best drivers, I can just hang with him because I'm just matching what he's doing. Like it's just you're just mimicking what he like. I can just do that, but when you have somebody
The
else who's not as
leading is
good,
hard. Yeah.
you're like, I don't like. Am I doing this wrong? And then like I eliminated like two people, and then I went up against this other person, and I get eliminated. And it's like I don't even understand what just happened. Like I did it exactly the same as before, but I don't understand what the difference was. But whatever, it's weird. So maybe
Well,
I don't know if
the
I'll do it again.
nuance is one of those things that it's like drifting is one of those things that the nuance is the whole thing. If you don't understand the nuance, then you don't understand what happened. And I bet
Yeah,
the more you do it and the more competitions you watch, maybe you'll understand more.
maybe,
Just like watching a professional sport. When I first started watching basketball, I didn't understand what was what, and now I've been watching it for so long, I get it.
maybe.
So
It's not going to be very practical though to just do it. I don't want to pay $40 just to learn every time. So like the next time
well, no, I'm
one's
saying
coming up,
you can go and spectate.
well that too, but the next time one's going to come up, I'm going to be like, hey, to the people that go regularly, can we just do like some mock competitions
It's not a bad
here so
idea.
we can
Yeah.
understand what's because we could all probably use it because it's like
Yeah.
this is you can't. It's
It
silly.
becomes open practice for them too. So
Yeah, it's silly to just I don't know. I'm trying to speed run it a little bit. Than just do it every single time. That'll take a long time. I don't know.
time to
But
go to school of YouTube.
yeah, maybe there is. I don't know. I don't like watching. I don't just can't. I don't have the attention span for YouTube videos for some reason. I can watch regular TV shows, but I just can't.
It
YouTube
depends on
videos
the
don't always
video.
hold me. Yeah, it depends. But anyway, that's what I've been working on with scale autocast stuff.
I'd recommend you watch the latest John Ludwig video of him rescuing that Audi from the woods because it
I'm
doesn't sound
curious.
like it would be entertaining to watch, but I sat there and I watched the whole thing. Like I was doing other things at the same time, and I watched it in 2 sessions, but it was incredibly entertaining to watch them navigate that thing from its spot of death in the woods and get it out of there without destroying it.
Yeah,
Um, it
it
was very cathartic to watch.
it's interesting because he's semi local. He's nearby where I go to in New Hampshire a lot, and it's like how does he keep finding all these old Audis in the woods of New Hampshire? I don't know. It's
He
weird.
talks about that in the video, and
Okay.
he brings up the point that I brought up before, talking about the NSU and stuff. Like European cars came into the East Coast, Japanese cars came to the West Coast. That's just how it was. You had the whole Max Hoffman thing bringing cars in through New York, and they wound up being filtered around New England. And you had a dealership network out here that sold, or out there in the East Coast that sold European cars, and they came to that side of the country faster. So that's just what. Other than Volkswagens, of course, those are West Coast. But it's just
Volkswagen
it's
was
a New
bold.
England thing to have European cars. Yeah, the Volkswagens are everywhere because they were cheap. But they were very misunderstood. And I remember, talking to people in the past about Audis in the 70s and even the early 80s, and people would just laugh at them. They were useless cars to people, but
Yeah.
which is probably why that one wound up in a junkyard in 1978 when it was 8 years old.
Yeah.
So
Somebody couldn't fix it. Somebody couldn't get parts for it because they're in New Hampshire in the 70s.
threw it away. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because the car's not smashed at all. And even they were dragging it out of the woods, the wheels rolled.
Yep.
So crazy. Crazy stuff. The cars are very rusty, don't get me wrong. It's not like it's a nice car, but
That's his aesthetic, though. So,
that's 100% what he does. Yeah. I dig it. So, and to give you a chance to go by his place and check out his stuff. He's a really nice guy too in person. So I've met him a few times. But anyway, yeah, well, I'd recommend watching that video because I was very entertained by it. And I don't even know why. Like I said, there's not a lot to it. It was just cool to watch. So maybe because it's like the rescuing of a car is kind of like my thing. The car I was talking about earlier is a similar situation. It's just sitting under a tree in a yard. So who knows? Very entertaining to watch him. Because his father is a lifelong recovery tow truck driver. So he knows how to do this
Yeah.
stuff. And I guess it's like anything. If you're watching somebody who's good at their craft, doing their craft, it's fascinating to see it happen. Knowing that they know what they're doing, even though it looks like chaos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, his father's old shop is on the way to where we go in New Hampshire. It's an old Art Deco service station.
Yep.
It's
Super
been
cool.
sitting there for years. Yeah, I don't know who owns it, and nobody's done anything with it. Hopefully, they don't tear it down because it's really cool looking. Like, it just put a coffee shop in there or something. It would just look cool like that.
Yep.
So,
We need to win the lottery and buy it ourselves.
yeah, exactly. Anything else?
I don't think so, Andrew. I think that's an episode.
All right, cool. So, yeah, follow us on Instagram and we're Auto Off Topic Podcast. I'm on Instagram. We're Race and Anger. We've got some stuff of the Volvo, stuff of the RC stuff. And Brad, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, TSISS350. They can find us both on Scale Upcast. I did just pick up a couple of new tarmac cars. I haven't bought any for a long time, but they just released a B5 Audi A4 touring car, and it is spectacular. So I bought it immediately. I have to take some pictures of it. I haven't yet, but it's killer. So that's where they can find me. So I've been posting pictures of the previous rally that I recently did and updates on Starion and McCore stuff basically right now. So more stuff to come.
All right, cool. And if you want to hang out with us, talk cars with a bunch of other cool people, message us for an invite to the Discord. So
100%. We got another vintage Audi owner today.
yeah. All right, cool. As always, keep cars analog and aim for the roses.